worked on Fiverr and Upwork also.
Yes, Adit. Sorry, I
Yes.
missed the last bit.
Okay. So I am just maybe you started the recording.
Yeah, because I forgot to start it at the beginning.
Okay. So I was saying, I'm a graphic designer. I'm working as a freelance graphic designer since 3-4 years. So I worked on the freelance platforms like Upwork and the Fiverr, and also made few clients from the UK and USA. And they are my permanent clients for now. I'll work for them. So reason of joining this is I just want to upgrade my skills to the UI UX designing. So I saw you as a graphic UI UX designer and a graphic designer. So I'll join this.
Okay, great. Thank you for that information, Sadat. And as you already know, graphic design, and you states that you have been you also have an experience and you also have clients. So that's actually good.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Can we have next one, please?
Hello, Assalamu alaikum. Am I audible?
Walaikum assalam.
Okay, so my name is Saiful Salaman. I'm right now a computer science engineering student from ISL Engineering College. And I'd like, first of all, I'd like to pursue game designing and all. And I know that graphic designing is a main part of that. So I just wanted to know about this course. That's why I joined. That's why.
Great, Faisal. To be frank, I really get to know really, I mean, very less about game design. There are only few people I think who are interested in this part, but it really sounds interesting. So let's see if we can learn from each other there.
Sure, inshallah.
Sure, yes, thank you. Can we have next one? Mariam, I see you unmuted. Can you share something about yourself, please? Okay, anybody else? I see Mohammed unmuted too.
Yeah, I have already started the first one.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry about that. Can we have next one, guys?
Hello, Uda.
Yes, Mubashir.
Okay, so I'd like to go now. My name is.
Yeah, sure.
Do you want me to start the video? It's okay.
If you want, you are really welcome. If you don't want to, I won't force you.
Oh, like just for the intro part, probably I will.
Sure, thank you.
Hello, everyone. So my name is Mubashir Hussaini, and coming to my educational and professional background, I am a BCom graduate, and I've been working. I worked in retail for 5 years. I have worked in different verticals. Currently, I have my own events management company. Uh, what inspired me to join graphic designing is again in events we require a lot of designs, a lot of posters like Huda. I'm sure you must be aware. So
True.
my expectations from this is I have to contact a lot of designers. They're busy and I don't have them on my direct payroll. So I have to wait for at least a day or 2 days to get a poster, a normal poster also designed. So if I can make it by myself, a good poster, I think that will solve my purpose. So that is the reason why I'm here, and this is my expectation from the course.
Yeah, I think if you can learn it yourself, then you are gonna save a lot of your time and money.
The time is more important, yes. I would save a lot,
True.
and I think that is the reason why I'm here.
Great, Mubashir. Thank you for joining,
Thank you for
and thank you for the introduction. Can we have next? Guys, can we please wrap up this session soon? I mean, the icebreaker activity. Can we introduce ourselves soon?
Hello, hi Huda. I am Mohammed. I want to design mobile apps, mobile app screens. So I want to learn Photoshop, Illustrator, apart from that Figma also. So that most of the
Great.
designs will done in Figma. So I want to learn that. So that is the reason I'm joining this session.
Okay, great, Mohammed. Thank you for that response. Just a quick clarity. You stated that you want to learn mobile screens. So, I mean, do you mean mobile development? I mean, the UI of a mobile application?
Yes, mobile app development.
Okay, great, great. Thank you for that clarity. Can we have next one, please? Mohammed Saad, are you willing to speak? You are unmuted.
Yeah, I have done first one.
Assalamualaikum.
Walaikum assalam, Salwa.
Yes, you might know me. I'm your
Yeah,
junior.
I do
and
know
we
you.
have worked together in the IEEE. So yeah, the reason for joining this is I already know about the graphic designing. Uh, I I don't have the professional experience, but I do know, and I just want to upgrade to the UI UX. So that's the reason I have joined this. And seeing you here is a great thing. So that's why I've joined this.
It's an equal pleasure for me too, Salwa, to have you here.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Can we have next one?
Hello, am I audible?
Yes, Hussein, you're audible.
Yeah, so my name is Mohammad Hussein Khan. Right now I'm pursuing BEIT from Nawab Shah Alam College. So I joined this section to understand the fundamentals of UI UX. And my expectations are like to understand Figma much better. So thank you.
Thank you for that response, Hussein.
Right.
Can we have the next candidate, please? I see we still have Amar Arjumand and Mohammed Ghulam. And Mohammed Noman, I guess. We also have Inamul Haq, sorry, remaining. Guys, can we have your quick introduction, please?
Assalamualaikum.
Walaikum assalam.
I am Inamul Haq. I am the MBA student in IT in Islamia Junior College, Engineering College. Sorry, I need to start with graphical designing, but I don't know about this. So I want to know among this what is graphical designing, and I need to gain more knowledge from this.
Okay, Nam. Thank you for that information. Can we have the next ones, please? Okay, I guess then we are done with the introductions. We'll move ahead. Is everybody done, guys? Can I move ahead?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, please.
Okay, thank you. So we'll come to the course overview. So we are actually starting about the coursework from the slide now, the information about our coursework. So let me give you a brief overview of what you can expect from the graphic designing course. Throughout this course, we'll delve into the deeper world of graphic design. And I would just like to mention here for a clarity purpose that this course is a beginner friendly course for graphic designing. So anybody who wants to start their career as a freelance graphic designer, or who already knows graphic designing but they want to enhance their skills, and somebody who just wants to learn it as a skill and then maybe use it for their career again in the future, all of them are welcome to this course. So we'll be covering topics such as, but not only limited to, which will include typography, layout designing, color theory, which will cover the principles and basics of the graphic design, or if I say any design, because when we speak about design, it's not just about graphic design. If you see graphic designing, UI UX designing, or even if I talk about the architectural design or the jewelry design, there are a few things which are similar. When we talk about typography, color, balancing, contrast, and harmony, this occurs in each and every design. So these are the basic principles and elements which every designer should know, irrespective of whatever field it is. So when we talk about design, these are the must principles and elements. So we will definitely look for all of the principles and elements when we start with our coursework. And moving ahead, we will learn 4 tools here. That would be Canva, Figma, Illustrator, and Photoshop. I'm sure everybody is aware of Canva nowadays, because it's the most basic tool who anybody can use, students, lecturers, any professionals, or anybody. So when we talk about a graphic designer or a UI UX designer, most of the times I would say, because I have experienced that people use Canva for maybe like 50% of their works nowadays, because it is easy to use, but they still deny using it. So there's no need of denial there, because even I myself agree that Canva is the go-to tool when you want to design something and you want it to be quick and good. So if you know Canva, that's a really heads on for you, because half of your job is done there. You only needs to learn how the design works and what should be the output, what it should look like. And moving next to the 2 tools, that's Illustrator and Photoshop. When we talk about graphic design, even if somebody who doesn't know design, graphic design, or anything, they know this 2 tools names, that is Photoshop and Illustrator. So if you are a graphic designer or a UI UX designer and you talk to somebody stating that you are a graphic designer, they ask you, do you design on Photoshop, do you design on Illustrator? So I think those 2 tools are very familiar. Even if you don't know them thoroughly, you might know their names, you might have seen their logos. I'm not sure if you have installed it ever, but yes, it is not a free to use tool, so we'll have to pay for it. Then lastly, we have Figma. I have chosen Figma here in the graphic design course, because I am used to it. I have worked on it as a UI UX designer, and I find it really helpful. Not only when we talk about the mobile and application development or design, but you can use it if you know how to use it. You can use it for other purposes too when we talk about design. So yeah, in this course, the additional a star I can say would be Figma, learning Figma, because you won't see any graphic designer in their graphic designing course teaching you Figma, because they usually go with the Adobe Creative Suites. So here you will learn Figma too. And as I have understood that we have some good number of people who wants to learn UI UX, so I would definitely try my level best to include some topics which will give you a heads up on how to use Figma when you talk about the UI part and the mobile application development part. Next, we'll be seeing logo designing and brandings. When we talk about logo design and brandings, what comes to people mind is just designing a simple logo. When we talk about logo design and branding, it is not just a simple logo. It talks about a brand, an entity. So you have to design a lot more things than just a logo. So we'll also see those things here in this course. Then lastly, we'll be having digital design. When we talk about digital design, it might include social media platform, but it is not just limited to social media platform. So you will also have the UI part there. A brief, but not in detail, because this is not a UI UX course. It is a graphic designing course, but I will definitely incorporate some UI terminologies and techniques here so that it will be easier for us to understand design. And lastly, we'll be having portfolio making. This is the most important or the core of our graphic design course, because when you learn, you have things to show that you have learned or you have worked on something. So throughout the course, whatever we design, whatever we work on, we'll try to incorporate it in a one single piece, which will be called as your portfolio. So that would help you when you live this coursework. When you complete this coursework, you'll have a portfolio in your hand to showcase your skills and get your clients, inshallah. And after the portfolio, we'll have a final presentation of your portfolio and all of the work and learnings you have done here. It will be just a brief, as we just have a brief introduction of yours, and it would be similar at the end of the course, where you will be speaking about what all you have learned, how it was helpful to you, how did you find it helpful, and how did you help make your portfolio and enhance your skills. Is that clear, everyone?
Yes.
Any questions onto this, you can pin it in the chat, because I'm going to take these questions at the end of the session.
Okay.
2 yeses. Can I please have some more yeses? Thank you, Mubashir. Thank you, Tayyib and Amar and Sadat and Saad. So moving ahead to the next. Coming to the highlights of our course, I just share that what all we'll be having in our coursework. So I'm sure that till now you guys have understood that what are you going to learn in this coursework if you join it. Now, why you should join it? Because I know that there are a number of people who are teaching courses such as graphic designing, UI, UX design, and there are plenty more. Maybe they have a lot more things to teach on, or maybe they have competitive fees when I talk about this course. But why you should join this one? You should join this one because by the end of this course, you will excel in this 5 things. You will have answers to this 5 questions. That what is design? When we talk about design, you should be able to describe what a design is. And I'm not telling that it should have a one same definition and it should be by hearted by everybody. No, when we talk about design, what is design? When we say what is design, it should mean that what design means to you. So can I have a quick answers here that what is design? Anybody who can answer this question? Nobody is going to judge you, neither me nor anybody else. Just a simple answer. What does design mean to you?
Visual representation of your idea or anything. Which you
Grabbing the
Visual
attention,
representation to
grabbing the
outlet the
attention
UI.
of the clients.
Grabbing the attention of the clients. Great answers. To outlet the UI, yes, when we talk about design, we talk about user interface, definitely. And to attract the clients, obviously, because that is the goal when we learn any skill, obviously. And there was another answer. Okay, can you repeat that answer? I think it was Kingstar.
It was virtual representation of your idea. It is the word.
That is a great one too, because mostly when you work as a graphic designer or a UI UX designer, when you get clients, that is the most difficult part, because when a client comes to you, they come with a idea. They do not come with a design most of the times. There is a very rare case when they come with a mock-up or something. But when they comes to you, 90% of the time they come only with the ideology that we want this to appear in this way, we want it to spark, we want it to turn around or something, and you are the person who are supposed to understand. So having a correct visual understanding of the idea of the client is really important here. So that was a great answer, Kingstar. Thank you for that. And Sayed Faisal says a way in which something can be planned and made either using drawings or text. That's a great one again. Yes, Faisal, when we talk about designing, it is planning and making something using drawings and designs, text, and much more to that. Mubashir says the presentation of your plan in a more beautiful and aesthetically visual manner. That's a good one. That's a beautiful one, I would say. Imagining and planning the creation of objects. Amar says imagining and planning the creation of objects. Yes, Amar, definitely. Because when you talk about design, it's again imagining first and planning next. Because you just cannot, open your laptop when a client comes to you. You cannot just open your laptop and start designing, because you yourself would need to understand what they want, imagine how it would turn out. If it would look good, then you plan it accordingly, like what colors to use, what would be the typography, what platform you'll be using, and then you create the object or whatever it is, the logo or the poster or whatever. So yes, that was a great one again. Thank you for all those wonderful answers, everyone. Do we have any more coming in, or are we good to go? I think that was all. Okay, so the next question is what to design. So we have understood what design is. Next, we go to what to design. If a client comes up to you and asks you that they have maybe a coffee shop and they want a poster to be designed. So you understand, okay, it's a poster to be designed, but there are a few types of clients which turn up and they themselves do not know as to what they want to design. They come up and they be like, I have a coffee shop and I want to design something which attracts my customer. So it can either be a good logo, it can either be, a good poster which can invite people with maybe some offers they are coming up with, or maybe a good menu when their clients come in or when the customer comes in. They look at the menu and they be like, okay, you have all of those things. But when you look at the menu, it should be appealing too, right? When you look at it, if it's black and white or if had some objects which are not related. You're going to a coffee shop, but it has objects related to maybe something else, cars and everything. Cars are interesting, I agree, but when you go to coffee shop, when you see car, it's not matching up, right? So when they come up, you should know what to design. You know what design is good, great, but you should know what to design when a client comes up to you. That is the next asked. So do we have any examples here from your side? Any experiences where I think we had somebody here who said he's already a graphic designer. And I think we have we had Mubashir, right, who said you are a part of event management. So happened any time clients come to you, state something, but they are themselves clueless as to what they want.
All right. This has happened multiple times. Being in my field, events, people want to do promotions, but they have no idea how to do it.
Exactly.
They want to do events, but what should be there on the poster, they have no idea. So we have to use our creativity and design it accordingly. So normally what I do is I just draw it on a paper, give it to the designer, and then work with him. That is the reason why I wanted to design it myself.
Great, Mubashir. That is what I was expecting, because yeah, when we are in a field, I think it doesn't happen with only designers, but I'm sure it might have happened once or at least twice with anybody who works in any profession, that there might be a time where a client come to you and they didn't know what they wanted, but they know they wanted something out of you. So yeah,
Happens a
that
lot of
becomes
times.
really complex. Yeah, Sadat, you were saying something?
It happens a lot of times, especially I have few clients from the UK. Mostly they are females. They just cannot explain what they want actually. I'm sorry. So we have to do, and even we have to do 3 to 5 examples and 3 to 5 works, and they'll just select one that do 20 to 30 changes in that. So the main thing as a graphic designer, I suggest is the main thing is the patience. We have to understand and we have to think something different. So
True. I think when we talk about design, graphic design or UI UX design, I have worked as both. And yeah, I swear that you need three things actually. First would be creative thought process, because when you start working on your clients, you get repetitive clients. I mean, you might get repetitive clients in the sense that there might be a same health sector company or even management company again. So your creativity at a point require that, okay, what's next, what's new? So that is one thing. Second thing is having patience. Very well said, because when you come into design, all you need, firstly, patience should be your priority, because if you're not patient with your clients, then you would definitely lose those clients, because they give you n number of repetitive works, they want you to make n number of changes, and they are still not satisfied. And you be like, okay, maybe we should have left it the way it was, but it doesn't work that way, because that way you won't get any more clients then. So you will have to be patient. And third thing is obviously to I mean, at a extent you can avoid this, because when you start a work with any client, what you can do is, I think it was Sadat who said that most of your clients are female who comes up uh, with a question that they want to design something, but they don't know what they want to design. So yeah, that is a little complex, and that would definitely take a lot of your time to understand yourself, that as to what will be required when they come to you. Looking at the picture as to what they hold or what their requirements are, to have a clear understanding of that first, and then explaining them, okay, if you have so and so restaurant or so and so company, then you might need all of these things to be designed. So there would definitely need your help at those times. And just to avoid those repetitive modifications, what you can do is, when you start with your work, you can have a clear say that this would be the wages, this would be the requirements that would be designed for your company, and this would be the number of modifications made. So that is the way you can avoid a number of modifications. But again, you are a designer, so you can never say no to a modification when the clients come up. I understand how many files you might have pinned to your laptop named as final design, final design, final design. I get it.
exactly, I can relate it.
Do we have any more? Okay, I think that was all. So we'll move on to the next question then. Okay, I think we have some answers here. I'm sorry, I did not see it. I don't have any experience doing the designing, but I have made a logo for myself and it did not felt good. No worries, Faisal. It wasn't much game related. Okay, so what you can do is, you have already designed it once, so you just need modifications, as we were just speaking about. Once you start modifying things, you will understand. When you keep your previous primary design, the one which you have made first, do not delete it ever until and unless you have made your final one. Trust me, because when you have the first one and when you compare it with your final one, that is when you understand how far you have went and how better you have done. I hope that would help you, Faisal. You're welcome. So we'll move on to the next question. We have understood what design is, and now we know what we have to design. But how do we design? A number of people know designing, but there are many people who wants to design, but they get limited resources, so they do not take designing as their career path. Or maybe because when you talk about the tools and software, they are sort of expensive, yes, but yeah, there are also a number of websites and applications which are free, but they are not aware by most of the people. So that is where I might help you when we move ahead with the coursework, because I have planned a lot more resources to be given when we end the coursework. So inshallah, we'll help you out with that. So is there anybody who can tell me how to design? Like, I mean, what platforms do you use for designing? Any websites, any application, Figma, Canva, Photoshop, Illustrator, that's done. Is there anything else, anything new which you want us to know? Figma. Okay, Hussein, you use Figma. Next. I'm sure there are a number of websites and application you guys might use to edit your reels, make your social media post and everything. Paper to sketch out the UI. I asked tool, but okay, I'll consider it. PowerPoint, yes, PowerPoint also helps in designing, but very few know how to use it correctly. If you know PowerPoint, you can do a number of things rather than just making presentations out of it. So that was a good one, Tariq. Thank you. Anybody else? Okay, I do not see any new responses. Okay, there is one, Colo and Filmora. Okay, I am hearing these two terms for the first time. But once this demo is done, I'm definitely gonna go back, Google it, and know what it is. So thank you for that, Faisal. I'm noting it down, hoping that it would help me too. It sounds like it's a video editing once. Is it? Faisal, can we have an answer for this, please? Great. Okay. So moving on to the next one. How to sell your design. Okay, now you have designed. If you are a freelancer, say we have many freelancers and students here. So once you learn graphic designing, once you design and once you know how to design things, how you are going to sell it. I'm sure, like, once you learn a skill, you would want to implement it to earn for yourself or your family or whatever your goal is. So how are you going to sell your design? How are you going to network with people? How are you going to let people know that you know designing, and they can come up to you when they have some work? How are you going to do it? Any answers to this one? Any idea? I'm sure Sadat and Mubashir might already know answers to this, how to pitch in clients.
Yes, ma'am.
Great. Anybody else? Any insights or any idea how we can get clients or how we can sell our design? Through social media platforms. Good. Yeah, I think one of the trending way for anybody, even a homemaker, is to sell your product using social media platform. I see many people even selling from WhatsApp. I think you have a business option there, right? So you use that and you sell your products there. So yeah, when it comes to how to sell your design, it isn't a rocket science. There are a number of websites again which help you, upload even your pictures. When you click a simple picture from your mobile phone, you can upload those on some websites, and you can even earn for that, for your picture which you have clicked. So rather than having them in your gallery, you can go post and earn from it too. So we would definitely let you know in the coursework again then how you are supposed to sell your design and how you're supposed to get your clients. Then lastly, done with designing, you know how to design, how to sell your product. Now what's next? You're getting clients. Okay, but what is next? Do you think this is the end of graphic design? You have known what is graphic designing is, you have learned it, got a certificate, started a career, getting clients, you're very well settled now as a graphic designer. But do you think the journey ends there? Does anybody think the journey ends there? Let me know if somebody does. No, Sadat. Yes, it doesn't. Anybody else? I'm seeing repetitive names. Can I please see new names in addition to the repetitive ones, obviously? Okay, so when we talk about, thank you, Saad, for the response. So when we say we know everything, it's actually not you know everything, because now I think the world we live in, there is no end to anything. Not education, not any skill. When we talk about design, it's not just limited to design. I'm sure it might be same in every company. For example, if we see with the launch of chat gpt, we thought that many might lose their jobs, many might lose their skills and everything. It would be just rusted and everything, but no, it isn't. Thank you for the answer response. Sorry, thank you for the answer, Hussein. So yeah, that is the correct answer. You actually do not stop to learn anything, because once you stop, you are done there. So you have to keep learning, because when you stop, you are not being what do I say, connected with the current trend. I'm sure we are aware that in each of the profession today, we have at least a single thing new which we have to learn. And if you know it, then you're good to go. But if you do not know it, then you might be at risk of losing your job, or maybe you might be at risk of not getting an appraisal or anything. So keep exploring your skills, keep enhancing your skills. You know one skill, great. I started with a UI UX designer with no knowledge, to be frank. I did not even knew that Figma existed. I did not even knew that a term called UI UX existed. A person came to me stating that there is a role called as a UI UX designer, and I think you might fit in that role because you're good at designing. And I was like, what is a UI UX designer? How does that work? What do you do in that? And that is where I got my spark, and I started working on it. And when we talk about Figma, I have learned all by myself, because I think the main reason behind it was my passion, and obviously the reason that Figma is easy to use and a free tool for anybody to learn. So when you get any opportunities at the lower prices or at like no cost, and if you can afford, if you can afford good prices, then please go ahead and learn those skills, because trust me, that is going to earn you something at some point. No skill is wasted at any time. Maybe not now, but in future. So whenever you're getting an opportunity, not just this course, if you are getting any other course, any other skills, there's somebody who can teach you something out of their time. Utilize it and use it, because you will definitely earn out of it sometime, or maybe that would help you enhance your work sometime. Is that clear, everybody? Can we move on to the next one? Do we have any questions related to these 5 questions? Can someone recap how to sell your design? How to sell your design? Well, I asked for answers, but I think I did not got any answers just for one. That was social media marketing given by Faisal. So yeah, Tariq, I was saying that how do you sell your design? You sell your design, maybe you find clients, networking, knowing, letting people know that a skill, and you know how to work on it, you know how to deliver good results and the requirements they have. But what if you do not know networking, or what if networking takes time? Because networking actually take time. You cannot just simply go to people and expect them to turn up with their product ideas to you, telling that like, for example, if I go to somebody, even if it's my friend, if I go to my friend and say that, hey, I have learned graphic designing, I can design for your online business, or I can design a poster for your maybe your college favorite party or whatever, they might not trust me, though she's my friend, but she needs to see if I actually know. So when she sees my work, when she sees my portfolio or my previous design or whatever, then she knows, okay, I know how to design. Then she might uh, come forward as a client of mine. But what if you do not have a number of people to network with? What if you do not have time to network with people? It's okay, you can use social media platform, you can use many, and there are a number of sites which pay you for a number of things. For example, I'm sure we are very well aware of the sites which pay you for copywriting. I think it's called content creation, creative writing, and all of that. Similarly, we have websites where you can upload your designs. When we talk about designs, it's your graphic designing work, like your poster templates, your logo templates, any images which you have clicked, edited, which is your genuine work. So if you upload it, there are a few websites where you earn when you upload, and there are a few websites you earn when you pass a little time when you upload some things. It might need some views, some reviews, some like, and then you start earning. So there are a number of such opportunities where you can sure Faisal, I would give you that answer. According to you, is it crucial to adapt the AI regarding how to design for the fresher? Can I get a little clarity on that, Hussein? Are you intending to ask that as a fresher, is it okay to use AI for designing, or like, are you asking me? Okay. So you are asking that as a fresher, can you use AI for designing? Yes, you can. When you talk about AI, I think they have answers. I mean, the AI have answers to your questions, maybe all of your questions, but please make sure that when you take content from AI, or when you take suggestions or any information from AI, try to read it one and paraphrases in your own words, so it goes similar with the design part. When you use AI for designing, I haven't used AI for designing yet. Not completely, but yes, I have seen a few updates on Canva where you're able to generate AI images. And to be very frank, I did try a few, but it were not up to the mark. It did not even met my lowest expectations, I can say. So AI is something, it lacks human intelligence. So it definitely needs a human mind again to read it and understand it, to make the changes if there are any mistakes or errors. So I hope I answered your question there. Is it clear, Hussein? True. Yes, Tariq. Even I would suggest the same, because when you use AI as a fresher, when you talk about AI, there might be a few command prompts you use and everything. There are even tutorials for using ChatGPT and DALL-E, I guess that is what it's called. And even if you go through it, you should have a basic knowledge about your skill or the skill which you are wanting to develop. When we talk about any skill, you should at least know the ABCs. Then you can learn till Z from the AI if you want, and you can know A to Z, and then you can start framing sentences or forming words from AI. That is what I am meaning to say here. Okay, great. Then next, we'll move on to the next one. Teaching methodologies. We have understood what we will be learning in this coursework, how we will be learning. Why we should learn it, what are the benefits that you'll be getting here. But now you might have questions that how you will be learning it, or what will be the methodologies I will be using for teaching the graphic designing course. So I will be using 5 things here, which I have implemented for my own self too, whenever I learn my academics, or I learn any new skill or any work at maybe my college or my office, whatever it is. So firstly, when you don't know anything, you get information from somebody else, either a human, a website, or an application. So when you go for it, that is the theory part. So here our theory part in this coursework will be our lectures every day. What I'm planning is we'll have 3 classes every week. So you will be having lecture for each of your class. So once the lecture is done, or might be even during the lecture, it can be both of the cases, either during the lecture or once the course the lecture ends for that day, we'll be having an hands-on experience of what we have learned in that class. For example, if I'm teaching you, or if I'm telling you about typography in today's class, then as soon as my lecture ends, I'll share maybe a PDF or a PPT format with you, where you'll be having the notes regarding what I have teached to you about typography. Then we'll see a hands-on experience as to like what typography is, and what typographies you should use, which one will be the good ones and which are the bad examples. We'll see such examples in our hands-on exercises. Then we might have group projects in the same class. If we do not have hands-on exercises, then we'll move on to the group projects, either this or that. But yeah, even in the group projects, I will be there to assist you. It won't be like you will be doing it all by yourself. No, it would be in class, so I'll be here to help you out with any questions, any doubts, or any help needed. Then once the class is done, once we say goodbye to each other that day, you will be having assessments to complete. So the only motive to give you assessments is, I know that I give you lecture in a class, I show you something how it is to be done. Okay, half of the thing is done there, but half is still remaining. That half requires your efforts and your understanding. So for that reasons, we'll be having assessments, and we are taking 3 classes per week, every alternative day, so that you get a day to complete your assessments. Even if you don't do it on the same day, you will have next day to complete it. But I would request that if you're taking up this coursework, please make sure that you attend all of the lectures and complete all of your assessment, because that is going to add on to your experience, your skill building and enhancement, and also to your portfolio at the end of the coursework. So that is requested. And lastly, I have thought of removing this, but then I thought that it would be not very helpful if I remove the last part. So I think whenever you work or learn something, it is important to have a critic, because when I started with my UI UX job, I used to get a lot of critic, even though I was a fresher, even though when I completed a lapse of my 1 year or whatever it was, there used to be a there used to be still some people who used to come up and used to be like, that this still doesn't look good, or this still needs to be modified. So when those type of suggestions come in, you do not like it, obviously, but that is needed, because when somebody comes and tells you that this is not looking good, maybe it's the best you have made, but when you get that suggestion, you try, okay, if they say that this is not good, let me try something else. And maybe there might be, okay, 51% or maybe 70%, the first design which you made was great, but 30% when you make the modification, that might turn out, there might be even 30% chances that when you redesign something or when you modify something, it might turn up maybe 100 times better to your first design. So never say no to modifications or enhancement, because that is again going to add on to your skills. You will definitely learn something new whenever you do modifications and changes whenever it is required. Even like Faisal, I think it was Faisal who said he designed a logo, but he did not like it. So now when he will design it later, he'll definitely compare his first and latest design, and then he'll understand that, okay, this was needed, and it did a good job for me to redesign or to modify based on whatever learnings I had and stuff. And I think Sadat, even he knows how modification works, and I'm sure he would agree that maybe not every time, but when the time comes and when you redesign and it looks good, trust me, it looks a lot better. So never say no to modifications and a little extra work. So whenever you're getting a critic, you actually make yourself shine a little more. So never say no to critics. That is what I am willing to say here. Is there anybody who wants to share any experience here? Because I think I have done a lot more talking here on the slide. Anybody who wants to share anything? Any critic which you have got, which you did not like it, but when you worked upon it, gained you a good result. Any example? Now I'm at least expecting one or two. Is it only me who have got critics to my work? Is there nobody? Okay, during designing the banner for the speaker to add those elements. Yeah, those are the basic one that comes for everybody. Even if it's a pro designer, somebody would come and ask that, add this, remove this, make it bold, make it pop, make it bigger. These are the basic ones. Trust me, you will get to hear it if you pursue graphic design or any design. You will listen to these sentences at least.
Well, not respect to graphics since I don't have any experience of it. But in general, yes, critics helps in learning because critics is the way you know, okay, there is that you are making progress. If there are no critics,
Yeah,
then there is no measurement kind of thing to know.
true. Very true, Tariq. I would agree to that. That when you have critic, you have an area of improvement. You have a chance of enhancing your work. When there is no critic, you feel like you know everything, and maybe you might fail on that note. So it's better to have critic than not have any critic. Mubashir says almost every time it helped me to make the design better. Yes, Mubashir. Thank you for that answer. So we'll move on to the next one if that's okay for everybody. Are there any more answers or are we good to go? Mr. Mubashir are you still here?
Huda, yes, I am.
Okay. Sorry for calling out your name, but I really wanted to know that you said you are from event management, right? And you said that you have a lot more graphic designer and designers basically who you turn up to when there are posters and everything. So I'm sure you might have been a critic at least once to them. Can we have an experience?
Credit to the designer, you're saying?
Yes.
Okay, so as I pointed out, actually it is almost every time. Unless I am physically sitting with the designer, there is a lot of changes that we need to make after the first draft. We can make,
True.
to give an example, the PSF summit was there, right?
Yeah.
You were a part of it, I was a part of it. So a lot of posters we used to get initially, posters and the backdrops and all. So we had discussed it on phone. Okay, this is the idea that we want, but that idea was in my mind, and the designer who were there, they thought it differently. So then they make a draft. After that, okay, we have to again change that. Okay, no, maybe this, the color is different, the fonts are bigger, the design is not looking very appealing, the photos are mismatching, the alignment is not there. So like this. So it takes at least 2-3 drafts to come to the final.
True.
That is the case for everything, I think. Unless you're sitting physically with the designer, it is done in an hour maximum.
Great. I think you have shared a really important point there, or if I say it's a fact that when you are in design field, when you physically attend the office or a client's place, it helps you a lot. Maybe when you are physically present, it might take maybe 2 drafts, but if you are not physically present, it might take 5 drafts even at a minimum, because when you're not physically present, when you don't interact physically with a person, not face to face, it takes a lot more time to understand each other ideology behind the poster or whatever design we have in mind. So there becomes a communication gap. When we talk about communication gap, it's not just when we talk to somebody, even that even comes in the design field. So when you have a design communication gap, it makes it harder for even designer and the client, both of them. I won't blame the clients for being a designer, and I'm sure that even clients don't blame designers. It's just that there is a miscommunication of the ideology, which takes a number of drafts for a design to be completed.
Agreed, 100%.
Thank you. So yeah, we'll move on to the next one. I am hoping this would be the interesting part of our demo, because here I will be showing you some practical examples. So let's have a sneak peek here into our course as to how you will learn, because I'll be showing you something so you will understand how I'm going to teach you. It might be up to your expectation, it might not be up to your expectation, but this is why we have this demo class today. So let's start. What all we'll be seeing here is, we'll see 5 topics, which is what I have plan to cover in this demo. That is typography, color theory, logo designing, branding, and promotional graphics. So I think we have already passed 1 hour. If I'm not wrong, it's 4:20 now. So I'll try to wind up all of these things quickly, and maybe I'll have to skip one or two. So I'll be skipping maybe branding or promotional graphics, but I'll see. Is that okay with everybody? Can we start?
Yes.
And during the discussions of these 5, I might not be able to, look up the chat bot, or maybe I won't be asking many questions here. So if you have any doubts, any questions while I'm explaining this topics, you can put it in the chat bot and I'll come back and look at it. Is it okay, everybody?
Yes.
Okay, great. So moving on to our first one, typography. When we talk about typography, what is typography? It is very simple. When we write something, that is what we are pointing towards. Typography. Text, fonts is your typography. It's simple. No rocket science here. So typography is simple. Maybe you were not sure of the term that it is called as typography, but you might have seen it every day, practically experienced it every day. You have typed every day, I'm sure about it. You have write every day, sure about it. I'm sure everybody has done that. So we have been aware of this, but we have not known maybe that it is called as typography. Now, what is typography exactly? If I have to define it, typography is the art of writing something or arranging the type or fonts in a manner which gives you 3 results. It should be legible, it should be readable, and it should be appealing. So when we talk about typography, when we talk about designing something which has a good typo or good typography, we are pointing at 3 things: being legible, readable, and appealing. So I'm sure that we might have came across many designs or many texts which might have been readable, but they might have not been appealing, or there might have been legible but they were not readable, or maybe there might have been legible and readable but they were not appealing to your eyes to catch your attention, and you might have just skipped it because it wasn't looking any appealing to you. So when we talk about typography, there are 3 goals to be conquered. It should be legible, it should be readable, and it should be appealing to your clients. So you have to have that perspective as to what you're designing and how your typography should turn out to attract the targeted audience. Not all audience. If it's targeting all audience, well and good. It should at least it should at least attract your target audience. Okay. So in the typography, we have 5 things as to discuss now. We might have more, but for now, we'll be discussing this 5. Typefaces. Typefaces are nothing but the fonts you use. It might be Arial font, Times New Roman, Sans serif. These are your typefaces. So when you use a typeface, it is important to use a correct one. Now you might be thinking that what is a correct typeface? All are the typefaces. They are there to use, but each of them might have a different perspective, a different appeal to a different individual. So when you have some specific graphic design or any UI UX design client, you have to select all of the elements from typography, color, branding, and everything from the perspective of your client requirement and your target audience. These are the 2 important persons in your criteria whenever you they should be always in your mind when you design anything related to them. So when we talk about typefaces, as I just said, that we have sans serif, and decorative fonts. These are the 3 types. Now, when we move to hierarchy, what do you mean by hierarchy? Hierarchy is nothing but arranging the text in an order which makes it looks more clean and readable, and it shows the flow of your text and what you are trying to convey. So when we look at this slide, for example, you see typography is written in a little bigger size and in bold, and then rest of the font is in a little size, and it's not bold, it's a regular font. So here typography would be the heading, and the rest of the 5 statements, 5 lines there is the body of the text. So this conveys that we are learning about typography here, and under typography we are seeing this 5 things. So that makes the flow easier to understand, right? We are able to understand what is the motive of this slide. So that is how typefaces and hierarchy works. Sorry. Next, we have spacing. When we talk about spacing, in some of the cases we might think that spacing is not required, and it is not something to be very much concerned about, but no, it is something to be very much concerned about. When you start your career as a designer, or even when you are a student of design, you have to keep all of these basic principles and elements in your mind, because even if you miss a single one from here, no, it would create a great impact in your design, and it might actually spoil whole of your design. That is how much importance each of these things holds. So when we talk about spacing, what do I say, a correct spacing is required. If you see these words, you are able to read it correctly. What if I increase the space? You might have to look from left of my screen to right of my screen to just read one word. Will you read the whole screen? No, you will skip to the next one, because you will have to put in a lot of time and efforts. So reading one word here, you are looking from left to right, like this much space. Why would you read something like that? Or what if I have really less spacing? Would you read it again? No, you would definitely not. Even I would definitely not read it. So even spacing is important here. Next, moving to the alignment and layout. So when we talk about alignment and layout, I'm sure everybody is aware here, because we have seen it in MS Word, we have seen it in Canva, we have seen it in maybe Photoshops also, and also in the PowerPoints. So whenever you use anything, Excel's also, you see three alignments: left, right, and central alignment. There's another one. But we usually use left, right, and central alignments. So when you use alignment, you are supposed to use the same alignment uh, throughout your design. For example, if I show you this, just give me a moment. If you are seeing the slides, if you concentrate here for a minute onto my slideshow, you will see that all of it is mostly left aligned. But when you see a questionnaire where I'm asking you something, it is middle, it is in the central alignment, in the middle part of the slide. So that is how your design should be. When you choose an alignment, it should be throughout your document. It should be throughout your design. Especially when we talk about documents, design documents or anything, your alignment should be fixed. You should not play along with alignments. For example, you have left alignment on one, then you have right alignment on the other one. It doesn't work that way, because it doesn't look that way. It doesn't look good that way. Next, lastly, we have emotional impact. What do we mean by emotional impact in typography? Is there anybody who can answer this? Anyone?
I think from my perspective, it means to connect the audience through hitting their emotions, creating a common ground to connect, example with the design.
True. Yes, that was a good one. So let's see an example. Anybody else who wanna answer? Okay, so we'll see a few examples here. I'm using Canva so that it would be easier for you to see, because that will provide me with a good slideshow and a number of, what do I say, different types of fonts and spacing options. I would have chosen Word or anything else, but that would not be very much visible and appealing for you guys to look at. So let's see an example of typography here. Are you guys able to see my Canva screen? My browser screen, I mean.
No.
No.
Okay, just give me a minute. I'll quickly share it with you guys. Is it visible now?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so I haven't done anything. I have just taken two simple text here. Now, starting with our typeface. When I said typeface, I said it is nothing but the font you select. How does this look? Is it looking legible? Are you able to read it? What have I written?
Yeah.
Able to read it, right? It's legible.
Yeah, it is.
Okay. Now tell me, how does this font looks to you? Legible? Readable?
Oh, no.
Is it readable?
Difficult to read.
It's difficult to read, right? If I zoom it in a little, are you able to read it?
Yes.
But not now. Not at the first go.
Yes.
So now do you understand that how is it important, or why is it important to use the correct typeface to correct font? Okay. So next we had hierarchy, right? When we talk about hierarchy, this is what we talked about. This is your heading. This the bigger in size, and the one which looks a little bold and big, this would be your heading, and this would be your side heading now, or your subheading, which we call it mostly. Is it looks good?
Yep.
Simple, right? Simple to understand. This is a demo class, so that is why I have thought of using the simple examples, because I know there are a number of people here who are beginners, so they want to know from like simplicity would be the best option to teach you guys here. So this is okay. You see my name first because that is what I want you guys to see first. I want you guys to know that I am Huda Khan and I am a graphic or UI UX designer. That is the secondary thing I want you guys to look at or to focus at. So that is the reason I have used a bigger font or a bigger size for Huda Khan. That would be my heading. And the little lesser size, or maybe it's not bold or italic, that would be called as your side heading or your subheading. What if I make it this way? Does it looks good?
Nope.
Makes any sense? What do you understand from this? If you just imagine this is my business card, would you contact me? Imagine this is my business card as a UI as a graphic designer. Would you contact me?
No.
If you see the first format at least, would you contact me then? It was simple, but it was readable. It knew the spacing, it knew the typography, it knew the hierarchy. At least it knew the three principles. But does this one knew? No, it doesn't, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so now we have seen typefaces. Why is that important? We have seen hierarchy, why it is important. Next, what we had to see was spacing, alignment, layout, and emotional impact. So we'll see alignment first. This is what I meant by alignment. Simple. This is left alignment, and this is your left alignment again. We'll keep it for same sizes. Let's increase it a bit here. Okay, both of these are left aligned now. Does this looks good?
Kind of.
Sorry?
Kind of. Not that much.
Okay, not that much. Okay, we will change it a bit then. I'll make them right aligned. Looks good? Doesn't looks good.
No. Center one looks good.
No, okay, center one was looking good. So this is how you try. This is how you modify. If you had left alignment as the first when you started, it is not necessary it's looking good until and unless you try the other options. You have seen left alignment, you have seen center alignment, you have seen right alignment, and now you know that the center alignment looks better than the rest of the two options. So this is how you understand design. This is how you work and you develop skills or you enhance your skills. Now we have this. What if I keep this one center and this one left aligned? This looks worse, right?
It's looks.
Now, I'm sure we have understood alignments and layout here. Next, we have emotional impact and spacing. So I'll try to show both of those things in once here. We have choose this font before, right? This one. You guys said this was not readable, but this was readable here when I zoomed it. Okay, I'll give you another try. I am just making it, let's say I am giving it mixed case. One is capital, one is a small letter, then another letter is capital. It doesn't make any sense. That is not how we write it, but I'm using it that way. This is not how we write it, right? We either keep the first letter capital or we capitalize each of the first letter of the each word. But I'm keeping it this way. Is it readable or legible now?
Well, legible.
Not legible. Okay, now we talked about spacing, right? Is it readable now?
No.
Makes any sense?
No.
We are not even able to understand that it is a text. It looks like there are some markings. Some kid did that with a marker or something, right? This is why spacing plays an important role. Understood? This was okay. And I was talking about the right spacing. So if this is the right spacing, then this is not the right spacing. This is also not right spacing. Nobody reads from here to here. Not every time. Not if there is like a paragraph. Nobody reads it this way. Right?
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll come back to our PPT then. I hope this was clear for everybody. We have seen typefaces, hierarchy, spacing, alignment and layout, and emotional impact. All of these 5 things. Was it clear? Are there any doubts in this one?
Well,
Okay, so we'll see a few examples here. Is my PPT visible now?
yeah, it is.
Okay, great. Here are a simple example, just 2 examples to understand what is bad typography. As we have seen, this one is like there's no specific space. There is space between words, but it isn't the amount which should have been required. Am I right?
Yeah, letter spacing
Like
is.
I mean, even I'm able to see there is spaces between words, but it is still not readable. It is still not legible to understand. And there is literally no space in the sentence. I mean, one line to another line, the line alignment or the line spacing. There is like literally no line spacing. There is at least some letter spacing, but there is no line spacing. So that makes it more difficult for a person to understand. Now, when we talk about emotional impact of a typography, this is what we mean. We see a name here, Willie B. Good. Okay. We see he is a defense trial attorney. Do anybody know what is a defense trial attorney? What they do? What is that profession? Any heads up? Anybody knows?
Annoying to defend
Sorry, Anybody say anything?
I mean, defense is a lawyer who defends the victim from the side.
Exactly. So when we say defense trial attorney, nothing, an advocate, a lawyer. Okay. So when we talk about defense trial, he or she is somebody who is very well versed with the law and who is very well versed in defending their clients. That is what they mean. So when we look at this typography, like just imagine this is their business card or this is their nameplate. Would you go to this person ever if you need a defense trial attorney? Does he looks like he knows law? Does that typography looks like he knows law? No, right? It feels like he knows graphic design. He knows I mean cartoon design, something like that. But he doesn't looks like somebody who knows defense trial. Does he? Or does she? That is how
But they
the
don't.
typography impacts a person's emotional convey or a person's, what they are. How do you convey it? By using the correct typography. I'm sure it is clear now. So we'll move on to the next slide. This is how you say it's a good typography. You see this paragraph, it is legible, it has good line spacing, it has a good letter spacing. Now, when you see on the right, it is another advocate, Advocate Deepak, and you see his study here, and you are able to see, okay, he is an advocate, he has studied this thing. When you see that text, you would go to him. When you see two boards, first is the William guy and the second one is this Deepak guy, who would you go to? Definitely you will go to Deepak. You would not go to Willie because he doesn't looks like he knows law. That typography doesn't conveys he knows law. It doesn't conveys his profession very well. So I hope this topic was clear. We'll move on to the next one. Sorry guys, I had to stop the presentation. The mouse wasn't working well. I'm sharing it again. Just let me know if it's visible now.
Yeah, it's visible.
Great. Okay, can anybody help me with this? I'm not able to move on to the next slide. I'm not sure what's wrong with this. Anybody who knows solution to this problem?
You can use the arrow keys? If you are
That
on-
isn't working too.
I think you have enabled some pointer mode. Right click and something maybe.
Or scan it
Okay.
after. Okay, sorry.
It worked this way, so let's use it this way. Thank you for the suggestions, everyone. So next, the topic which we are having is color theory. We have seen typefaces. Okay, now we know how to use, or we know which typefaces would suit which profession or which design requirement. Now, when we talk about color theory, as typefaces are important, color theory is equally important, because if you know the right font but you do not know the right color, then it is again a bad design. So when you talk about color theory, you are supposed to mainly focus on three things. The color wheel. When we talk about color wheel, why is it important? Where most of the designers think that it is not very important to learn, but it is very important to learn, because when we talk about color theory, color wheel is the heart of the color theory. Because in color theory, you will understand what is the primary colors, what are the secondary colors, and what are the tertiary colors. So when we talk about primary colors are nothing but there are three. That's red, orange, and yellow. So when we talk about primary colors, that's red, orange, and yellow. And when we move on to the secondary colors are nothing but the combinations of the primary color. So when we add, the primary colors are red, blue, and yellow. My mistake.
Is it
Primi-
Should be right.
It's RGB, I guess.
RGB? Red.
Red,
yeah,
green,
sorry,
and
my
blue.
bad. Okay, this shows that I cannot make mistakes when I'm taking the course. So people know design here.
What kind of?
Good to know that. So we have RGB, red, green, and blue. So moving on to the secondary colors. When you mix the primary colors, you get secondary colors. For example, in secondary colors, you might have orange, green, and purple. And then lastly, we have tertiary colors. So what are tertiary colors? Anybody have any idea what are tertiary colors or how do you get those?
Maybe gradient.
Not exactly. Gradient is entirely a different concept. Gradient is something when you use two colors collectively.
Okay.
You don't mix them actually, you blend them. Anybody else? Okay, no worries. So when you talk about tertiary colors is again a combination, but a combination of which? It is a combination of a primary color and a secondary color, which is the neighboring of a primary colors. For example, when we talked about RGB, those are the primary colors. So when you are talking about a tertiary color, you will mix red with the neighbor of blue or green. You would not mix red with its own secondary colors. Is that clear?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when we great. So when we move on to the next one, we have color temperature. I'm sure we have known about this, that there are warm colors and there are cool colors. So when we talk about warm colors, there are two colors from primary colors here. Any guesses? RGB.
Red and green is warm.
Red, green, and
Red green is warm. Blue is cool.
red, green is warm and blue is cool. Okay. Anybody else?
Lime and cyan.
Okay. Those colors sounds too posh. Any other colors? Okay, so when I said there are two colors from the primary colors which are warm, that was incorrect. I wanted to know if somebody knows it. There are not two colors from the primary colors which are warm. There's only one color. You were right. We have red here, but we do not have green. Green comes under cool colors. So when we talk about warm colors, warm is literally related to sun. Just remember it that way. When we talk about warm, it should make you feel warm and what do you say? It should make you feel a little warm and embracing. That's how you identify warm colors. Red, oranges, and yellows. These are the three main colors that come under warm colors. There might be many more, but these three are the basics. When we talk about cool colors, it gives you the feeling of relaxation and coolness. That is why we call as cool colors. It might be green, purple, lime. Somebody said lime, right?
Yeah.
These color comes under cool colors because it actually makes you feel relaxing. When you look at it, you feel cool about it. When you look at a design which contains that color, and most of the times in a very good manner with all the correct combinations, correct contract and typefaces, when you look at a design like that, you say that is a cool design. And when you look at a design which contains warm colors, and it is again a well crafted design, you might, or it might definitely slip out from your tongue that that design looks hot. So that is how you define it. That is how you gets to understand which design is good and which design is having warm colors and which design is having cool colors. Is that clear?
Yep.
Okay, move on to the third one, cultural significance. This is not something which everybody takes care of, or maybe it isn't something which every designer, as a graphic designer or a UI UX design, might take care of or might emphasize on much. But if you know, and maybe as per your client's requirement, and maybe when you design some specific things, you will have to take care of the cultural significance too. When we talk about cultural significance, we mean that there might be some examples in some cultures where a simple color might mean something else in one culture and might mean something else in another culture. For example, if we take white, what do you think white mean when I say use white in your design? What do you think? Why do I say that use white? What might be my motto? Or what I may be asking you to design? White is a very cool color, right? It's very peaceful, it's very relaxing. It's a simple innocent color, if I say. That is how I feel about white. Can I design something with white? I mean, any example? Any cultural example where white might mean something in one culture and it might mean something else in another culture? Or any other color even? Any example? Just a single one.
I don't know about culture, but white is related to like pure or religious or something shiny and righteous, and whereas black is considered as dark and evil kind of a thing.
True, very true. And in most of the cases, we see that whenever we see something, I'm sure our parents, our grandparents, they have this. I mean, mostly they have this sort of thoughts, stereotypical thoughts or typical thoughts, where when they see something in black, they be like it's not, a very lucky thing to see something in black. But there are many things which are good and they are black. Then I'm sure we all know about it. So we do not have to differentiate colors based on culture, if I have to say, as a graphic designer or a UI UX designer. So let's take an example, another example, just a simple one. I'm sure we all have seen this somewhere in a movie, in a real life experience. So that is why I'm taking this example. No offense meant to anybody here. When we talk about white, in Muslim culture, we wear white mostly because that is said to be the most relaxing and most comforting color. That is the most preferred and prioritized color, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah.
Okay. If we move to another culture, if we talk about Hinduism, we see that they wear white when they mourn somebody's death, which is an entirely opposite concept of ours. Now, when we move to Christians, they wear white on their weddings, which means they also take white as a happy color again. So this is how cultural differences matter. So when you design, not always, but sometimes you will have to take care of the cultural significance too, based on your client requirements and your target audience. Is that clear?
Yeah.
Yes, Faisal, your answer is right there. Now, moving on to the next one. This is the example of bad color theory. We are seeing two designs here. Okay. One is a music studio records. Are you able to read music there, or are you able to read studio records there on the red one? Here. Is it visible, readable?
Kind of visible, but not that much attractive.
Not that
much
much
sharp.
attractive. You have to like look for maybe at least 5 seconds there to read, okay, there's something written in blue too there, right?
Yeah.
Looking at the right one, okay, there is some good use of typography. There is like, I mean, this is a kind of different graphical text used with some effect. Then there's another line, then there's text with good spacing, and then we have another one, then we have another one. But if you notice, there is like more than 2 or 3 types of text there, which is not required. When you design, make sure that you are using minimum number of different text. It should be either 2 or either 3 maximum, but you should not use different types of text for each of your line or each of the thing you have to say, each of the different element. No, do not do that ever, because that is what this is how your design will look like then. And if you see the spacing of the elements used, this thing is moved exactly to the left side. Doesn't looks good. Here, these 3, okay, they have spacing in between, but if you notice, these 2 spacing are not equal. They should be equal spacing when you have some elements in the same line. Then again, here you see this spacing is good, but then again, this spacing isn't good. The background color, literally not acceptable, because it makes difficult for the text to read at some of the colors. For maybe like when you see this blue, it's not very much visible. Then the background itself attracts you so much that you have to concentrate at what's written there. So that is how the typography and color matters. Is it clear?
Yep.
Okay, moving on to the next one. This is a good color theory example. Have I used the right ones? Does it look good to you? Does it look appealing? Are you able to see what's written?
Yeah.
See, I have used the same one here in the good and bad design. If you notice this music studio records. In the previous one, it was not very much visible. It was not very much appealing. Or if I say it was not at all appealing. Am I correct?
Yes.
Now, when you look at this one, is it appealing? Is it interesting? Would you look at it for some time because it looks good?
Yes, obviously.
When you look at this website page, home page, the gradient colors, the typography, the arrangement of the elements, the colors used, everything is perfect. And what do you say when you look at this Adidas homepage? What is going to slip out from your tongue? Are you going to say that design looks hot, or are you going to say that designs look cool? Cool, because it contains green. Great. I hope this was clear. So can we move on to the next one?
Sure.
Thank you. So now when we have moved on to the third topic of ours, that is logo designing. And next we had after logo designing, we have branding. So what we'll do is we'll take a simple example, as we have passed a lot of time. So I'll show you something on Canva itself. Just give me a minute there. So when we talk about logo design, there are 5 most important things which are to be fixed in your mind when you're designing a logo. These are very important concepts, so you are not supposed to miss even a single one of them. When you design a logo, first thing that should come in your mind is what is the definition of your logo. If there is a client coming up to you, say that they have a software company, or maybe say they have a clothing company. So when they come up to you, they define that they have a clothing company, it is in so and so place, or it is in MNC or whatever. So based on that, you define their company and the requirements. That is what is meant by definition. That is where you get an idea as to what might be needed in their logo, or how their logo might look like. That is where you grasp that knowledge. Is that correct? Is that clear?
Yes.
That is how you understand, right? That is how you define. When the client comes and tells you things, that is how, that is when you grasp the concept of your logo designing. Now, next come identity. What is identity? Anybody? Okay, no worries. When we talk about, yeah, sure. Please go ahead.
Sorry, like a trademark or their specific product or something.
Great. So when we talk about identity, it is important because when a brand starts, or when a company starts, anybody who is trying to make a logo of their business or anything, identity is most important. Because suppose if I'm starting a company, I made a logo for my company, but I did not registered it, I did not got its copyright, I did not got it trademark, then there might be somebody else who might copy my design, and I might lose my company's identity. Maybe I started from scratch, now I have a big company, but I forgot to secure its identity. What if somebody else come in, use the same logo, colors, fonts, and get it trademark? They gets the whole identity, they gets the whole credit. Your clients might think that you were the fake one and they are the genuine ones. It would be a lot difficult for you to gain your clients, to gain your company's reputation back. Is it true?
Yes.
So when you talk about identity, it's not just that your logo should look identical. No, it is not only limited to that. You should also secure your logo. You should also secure your designs. Even as a graphic designer, when you design something, you have to make sure that you're securing your designs. If you do not want anybody else to use it, or have a reputation out of your designs. So you will have to secure your design and your logo's identity. Next, we move to simplicity. What is simplicity and why is it important? Nowadays, if you might have noticed, when we see new emerging companies or small companies or anybody, when you look at their logos, it's a bit complex to understand. Can we have a break here till the azan completes?
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. And I'm sorry for taking so much time of yours.
No worries.
Okay, we'll continue, everybody. Thank you for the wait. So we were at simplicity, right? So when we talk about simplicity, we are able to see many designs now or many logos nowadays, which are good, but which are a little complex to remember. Can you name a few which you find complex to remember? Any logos which you do not remember because it's complex. You do not remember the design, but you know it exists. Or maybe name a logo which is simple to remember, which you remember because its logo was simple to understand and you have it in mind.
LinkedIn, Instagram.
LinkedIn, great. It just has I in. Instagram, great.
The logo which you were saying, which was difficult to remember, is the CRED.
CRED,
CRED
okay.
application has a logo which is not rememberable.
Okay, yeah, I do not remember it too. I do remember that it exists, but even I don't remember its logo. Good one. Next. So how does this work? When people doesn't remember your logo, do you think they would remember your application? Or they might be interested in your application, or people might know that, okay, this exists. Like I just said, I am a UI UX designer, a graphic designer. I said that, yeah, I have heard CRED, but even I don't remember its logo. As a designer, if something looks appealing to me, I will do remember it for sure, but I do not remember it, maybe because I did not find it simple to remember or appealing to remember. there are either two cases. Either you find it simple so that your brain captures it, or you find it very appealing and so your brain captures it, right? So when it is not appealing, make sure it's at least simple. Simple doesn't mean it have to be bad, it have to be boring. No. Simple means it has to be something which people might look at, but it still might look good to them and they remember it in the future. When you use application for n number of times, you might remember it. But what if there are some applications, some website which you do not use, but you still remember them because they had a good look and feel of their website. They have a good logo when you were, scrolling through their, profile on the Play Store. You looked at their logo once and you remember it still. That is how you make an impact through design. Even if those are not your target audience, they will still remember your platform. That is how you should work. Is that clear?
Yes.
Now we come to versatility. Versatility is nothing but like you should not have, or your design should not have something that is already used. I know it is difficult because there are very limited colors. When I say limited colors, it's not actually true that there are limited colors, but there are limited colors which are repetitively used. So that is why we call it limited colors. There are fonts which are repetitively used, but how can you make it versatile? If you're using a font which is already used by another company, already used by another website, what can you do to make it different? Maybe you can use another subheading or a subtext with a different font, which is a good combination with your primary font. Maybe you can use a different color from the other company. Maybe if they are using a solid color, you can use a gradient color. That is how you make it different. That is how you make it versatile. Is that clear?
Yeah.
So when all of these things are perfect and in place, definition, identity, simplicity, and versatility, that is when your logo designing or any of your design becomes memorable by themselves. You don't even have to work on it. If you're good at these four things, then fifth thing is automatically done.
Well, you're not audible.
But branding, there are a number of things which are still to be designed. Sorry?
You are not audible for the last one.
I wasn't audible at all or for some time.
For something like 10 seconds.
Oh, okay. I did not speak anything because I thought somebody would respond with a yes or no. So you did not miss anything there.
Okay.
Okay, so when we talk about branding, most of the people or most of us have in mind that it is just designing logo or maybe designing a simple poster for a company with their logo. No, it isn't designing. When you talk about designing, it includes a number of things, but it mainly focuses on three things. What are those three things? The identity of the client, the message what they want to convey, and the product which they are selling. So if you focus on these three things, you will automatically get as to what you should have in branding. So when you talk about branding, you design logo, you design print materials, which are business card, brochures, menus, posters, and flyers. And it also includes the social media graphics. It might include the stories you put up, promotional stories, or the post, or the customer feedbacks when they get their products and everything. And the website elements. When we talk about website elements, it usually comes in UI UX, but as a graphic designer, also you might be able to work on some website elements. Website elements in the sense when you design some images or some banners, it might also be used up on the websites too. So that is how you work on the websites element too as a graphic designer. Is that okay? Can we move on to the next one?
Yeah, sure.
Great. So now we will have the questionnaire section, but before that, due to the lack of time, I did not show you Photoshop and Figma, right? So I'll show you any one. I'm sure everybody is aware of Photoshop. So can we go with Figma if that's fine with you all?
Yes.
Yeah, sure, please.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so that sounds like a good number of yeses. So we'll see Figma here. So what we know about Figma is used to design the UI, the prototypes, wireframing, low fidelity or high fidelity mockups, wireframes, and then the prototype. But what we do not know about Figma is Figma can do more than that. You can use Figma for your simple works too. I use Figma for most number of things here. For example, if you see, these are some of my works.
Well, the
These
screen
are
is
not
not visible.
supposed to be done on Figma. Just a minute. It should be visible now. Is it visible?
Yeah, it's visible.
So I use Figma as an alternative to Canva. I use Figma as an alternative to Photoshop. I use Figma as an alternative to Illustrator even because I know how to use it. So when you talk about Figma, I would prefer Figma over everybody else because Figma is first of all a free tool, a free software. It has an application. It has an online website too, and it has an application, both of which are free. You can take up to 3. Okay.
Yep.
Great. So if you see here, let's take some examples here. I'm sure you guys are aware of how to edit an image or how to make a poster in Canva and Photoshop or Illustrator. But do you know how to do it in Figma? Have you ever tried that in Figma? No. Okay. So we'll try something in Figma here. I'm copying this 3 images, putting it here. Okay. I'm selecting this 4, choosing auto layout. Visible? What did it did? It arranged them in a same order, in a same line. Right? Good thing?
Well, no.
Just one click. Did you guys see it? Should I repeat it? Sorry?
Can you please repeat it?
Okay. I have pasted my 4 images here. Was that clear?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Now, do you see this auto layout here on the right hand side?
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm clicking on this. Done. It has automatically created a layout there. A good layout, not just a layout. It has arranged all the 4 images side by side in a single line. Looks good? Arranged by itself, you do not have to arrange it manually.
Yeah.
Yes.
Great. So now I have this 4 things here. Let me just select this image. I'm copy pasting it, just taking it out. Taking this background here. Now placing the second image onto it. But before placing, I just want this cup. I do not want its background. What do you think I will do? It is not Photoshop where I can remove the background, right? It is not Canva where I cannot, where I can use something and remove the background. Go in edit image, remove background. Can I do that here?
No.
No, but I can remove the background. How? Using a plugin, a free plugin again. You see this Figma icon here onto my top left.
Yes.
I'm clicking on it.
Yes.
I'm going to plugins. Okay, I have to keep moving this here and there. I'll keep it here. Okay, I'm going to plugins. I'm choosing remove BG and I'm clicking on run. What does it do? Let's see. Did it remove the background?
Yep.
Yep.
Did it remove it well? The accuracy is
Yes.
good.
Yes.
Would you go to Photoshop? Would you come to Figma?
Figma it is.
Okay, so I have placed the cup here. I'm done with my background and my main image. So it looks good to me here. What I'll do next is I will just, take this thing, this chocolate syrup type of a thing. I'll again remove it background. Now I'm removing its background. I just want that syrup and those droplets. I've got it.
Yes.
So I want it here. But how do I want it is I want it to be in the middle. You understanding my point? Now imagine that I am a client, you are a graphic designer. I'm telling you that this chocolate syrup should go around the cup, not above the cup or below the cup. I mean, not in front of the cup or not behind of the cup. I want it wrapped around. How do I do it?
Put in this layer.
Layer, trying different layers, moving it.
Maybe backward. Like
Okay,
frame.
now this is in the front one, right? I'll move it to the back. I'm sending it to back. काफी पीछे चले गया, ठीक है. I'll bring it forward. I'll move it like this. Done? It went back, but I want it around. Okay, what we can do is we have sent it back, right? I'll just name this so that it will be easier for me to access. Okay, I'm making a copy of this cup. I've copied it. Okay. Now what I'm doing is I'm using it as a mask. You have this option use as mask here. Okay.
Okay.
So I'm using it as a mask. What does it do? I'm grouping it and I'm bringing this syrup thing, making a copy of it, and I'm bring it in the same group above the cup mask which we have created. Okay.
Okay.
Is it visible?
Yeah.
How does this look?
I didn't saw how did you do it?
Okay, I'll redo it. I have taken this cup. Okay, I'll show it here in the empty space. This one. And I'm also making a copy of this. Now I'm using this option, right click and then use as mask. Okay.
Yeah, okay.
It disappears because it's a mask now. It won't be visible. The element which you place on it will be visible, not the main element which you have converted into mask. Clear?
Okay. Okay.
So now I'm bringing this here, moving this image into the same group. Visible now?
Okay. Got it.
Okay, so now what I'm doing is I'm bringing this back here. I'll delete this once. I'll create it here. Making a copy, using it as mask, and making a copy of syrup again and moving it above, putting it in a group. Putting it in a group because you only want these two elements to be used in a mask. Okay.
Yep.
So now
Yeah.
it's still looking the same, right?
Yep.
So how do I change it?
We mask the cup in front.
I'll crop my mask because I only want this one. This way, right?
Okay. Mm, yeah.
I'll have to make another copy because we are taking different dimensions here, right?
Yeah.
So I'll move it around
The
this
upper
way.
part and the lower part will be.
Yes, exactly. Now here I'll be going for the upper part, this one. Okay.
Yep.
So understood how does it works, right? Got the basic idea.
Yeah.
Done.
Yep.
Let's increase or decrease the size a bit more here. Let's keep it the same because we are adding one more. Removing the background again and just placing it on the top. We are not using mask here because it's just like a topping thing. So we'll just put it at the top. Okay. Is it clear, guys?
Yes.
Now let's use some text here. What if I write hungry? I am increasing the size to 100, maybe say 200. bringing it here, making it bold or capitals. You see regular here, you can select these many options in Figma. You see thin, extra light, light, regular, medium, semi bold, bold, extra bold, black, and then in italic again you have same options. So let me use bold. I'm placing it here in the center alignment. I don't want to fill it completely. I just want to use the outline. So I will select this minus symbol here under fill and I'll add stroke. In stroke, I'm using white color. Let's say I am using a weight of 2. So I got a stroke and outlined the text. Now I'm using second one, but I want this to be filled. I don't want this stroke. I want this to be filled. So I'm filling it with white again. But what if I want this text stating hungry to be at the back? Sending to back. This way. Or maybe I want it before this syrup, so I'll put it here or here. Yeah, looks good. I don't want it to be at the complete backhand side. Now I
Great.
want the last one to be in the front, to be very visible. So I'm using a fill and I'm not moving it any back. I'm using it at front. How does this look? Looks good to be a poster? Looks appealing?
Well, no.
Not that good because it's
Not
hiding
that
the
good.
actual product behind.
Not
Exactly. So what do we
Because
do?
it's hiding the actual product behind.
Any suggestion what to do?
Change the font size or
Change the
change the
font
alignment of the
size.
text
Great. Okay. We have seen already
or the alignment of
alignment,
the text.
spacing, text, right? What we haven't seen and what I want to show here by this is transparency. Did we talk about transparency? No, right?
no.
We can also think about transparency. What do transparency do? It is 100% visible here, but I don't want it to be 100% visible. I want my product to be visible, but I still want that hungry thing to be there. Can I make it 50%? Is my product visible now?
Yeah, it does.
Is
A
the
bit,
text visible too?
yeah, it is.
I want the text to look like, a thin outline, then a little visible, and then completely visible. So is the idea of mine correct with the text? But what is the
Can
problem here
we
is the visibility
drop
of
off
the
the
product.
2 words in between? Yeah.
Sorry?
Can we
Can you
divide the
repeat that?
text in 2 parts, like the middle? Can we split the text from the middle and so that the product
You
is much
you wanna keep it like, I mean, you want HUN to be on the left, then product, then GRY to be on the right.
yeah.
Okay, let's try that. That should be simple because you'll just use the spacing here, right? Let me put this thing here and then use spacing. Something like this.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah, like yeah.
Okay, kind of. But does it align with the rest of the design?
No.
This way?
No, it doesn't. Yeah.
Is it aligning with the rest of the design?
No.
No. Okay. So what we can what we can try instead of this is we'll have a transparent, but what if we send it back as we sent the outline one? What if I keep it here?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Fine. Motive is done, right? You see Hungry Tries, you see the product, and you're conveying the message.
Yeah.
Looks good now?
Yeah.
Understood the concept of design? We included all the basic principles, right? Color, contrast, transparency, legibility, readability.
Yep.
And we used a new software, that is Figma, because we are aware of Canva, Illustrator, and Photoshop anyways. Though we are not very much well versed, but this was new.
Yeah, it was.
Okay, so with this, let's end our session. We'll have a quick Q&A, questioning and answering. If you have anything, please drop in the chat bot. I'll try to cover up the questions. Or else, if you do not have any questions, I'll quickly send the feedback form link here, and in the WhatsApp group, you can fill in the feedback form there. And even if you want, you can put in your questions there too.
I had the question about you said about securing your designs, right?
Mhm.
So, like, how is it practically done? Like, what do you mean by securing your design?
When we say
Okay.
securing our design, it is very much important because nowadays I see that when I watch YouTube or when I watch Instagram, usually I see the same thing being repeated from the different users. I mean, what the use of it? We have seen it once, right? Why do we want to see it a number of times? That actually irritates me a lot, and that was the ideology which clicked into my mind, that how can these same designs be used by a number of people and they are not even raising any questions onto that? I mean, if I am a graphic designer, if I design something and if I post it as a reel onto my Instagram, and if somebody else is using it without even giving credit to me, I would not definitely like it, right?
Yeah, agree. But on a bigger scale or a larger perspective,
On a
where
bigger
the
or a larger scale, the only thing to do it is by getting your copyrights and your trademark. But on a smaller scale, if you want it to be done, what you can do is when you post your content, have a trademark. I mean, not a
Okay.
trademark, at least a watermark.
Okay.
Either at a corner, top right, left, bottom, whatever it is, or at the center. Transparency should be low, but it still should be visible, the way which we did for the text Hungry just now, the second text. We
Okay.
decrease the transparency, we sent it backwards, right?
So it's like
If you do
marking
not
your own
want
product.
somebody else to use it, yeah, exactly, mark it with your name, with your logo, whatever it is. Because when you add a watermark, it becomes difficult for a person to take credit for it. They will either put something else on your watermark and use it if it is at a side or something. But if you're putting a watermark, I would suggest that put it onto your product. Don't keep it at a side or something. If you don't want somebody else to use it without covering up your name and using theirs own, put a watermark at the center of your design, but with a less transparency, so that it is there, it is visible, but it is also not blocking your design.
Yeah. Thank you. Got it.
You're welcome. Anything else? Anybody else is having any question?
Yeah, I have a question regarding typography.
Mm-hmm.
Like in the context of typefaces, which is the best font that we use regularly in the Figma?
In the Figma, usually Figma, as I previously mentioned, that it is a UI UX design tool. So when you design mobile applications or website, you do not, I mean, mostly 80% of the times you do not try any funky looking fonts or anything. You keep it minimal, you keep it sophisticated. So we use fonts like Arial, Times New Roman, Sans, maybe Glacier Indifference, fonts like that, which looks which look elegant, which look sophisticated. It should not be funky, it should not be too bold, too italic, too small, not like that. I'm sure when we that is very common. I'm sure all of us have a number of applications in our mobile. So whenever you open a mobile application, do you see any funky font there? No, right? You see a simple font.
Yes.
And to use a simple font in a mobile application or a website, also have another reason. That is, when you make a website or when you make an application, when you use n number of design tools, gradients, or some very good new typography and everything, there might be even some places even in today's time which do not have a good internet connectivity, or who does not have really good storage laptops or phones, whose phones does not support all of those things.
Yeah.
If the design is extremely what do you say, highly defined, and it has high resolution images and everything, the website takes time to load, or in some places it might not even load. That is the reason the government websites looks very simple. It does not have n number of elements, it does not have n number of different colors, it does not have very good looking or hd images.
Yeah.
So you have to keep that thing in mind, that whenever you are creating content or design for anybody and your target audience is having a wider range, make sure that you keep it minimal but keep it good. Keep it minimal doesn't mean it should look boring again.
Okay, noted.
Anything else? Are there any questions, or can we end the session? If we can end the session, can I have some kind of can somebody say yes, no, or something, so that I can understand that we are good to end the session?
Yeah, we are good.
Okay. I think that was one. Let's end the session. Everybody else, I see 7 people. Please, I want 7 responses. I don't want anybody to be left out. Okay, no responses is something I'll take as yes. Let's end the session. Okay, then I'll share the feedback form in the WhatsApp group. You can fill the feedback form, and please make sure you do fill it, because it will be really important for us to tailor our course again. Based on your requirements and your suggestions, because as we have had our introductory session, I have understood that there are different types of requirements from each of one of you. So if you put in the suggestions and your questions and everything in the feedback form, it would be easier for us to tailor the course as per your requirements to benefit you to the most. Okay, because you guys are important. You guys are the ones for whom this course is being created. So please use the feedback form to convey your suggestions, convey your questions, anything which you want to say, anything which you want to suggest for the coursework. How do you want it to be? What you want to learn by end of it, and everything. If you have any questions, also in addition to that, I'll share a roadmap in the group. It's a PDF which will contain all of the information as to what this course will have. In addition to that, also the feedback form contains the questions regarding the start, duration of the course, the timings and everything. So do put in your suggestions, because it will be easier again for us to have the correct timings and dates, so that we can start the course, so that more number of people can attend.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So thank you everybody for the attention and coming up and participating in this demo. I see that there were more people when we joined, and there are only 7 now. I think that is because we extended the session too much. I did not expected it to extend this much, because even I had other sessions to attend. So anyways, but it was good to have you all here. And it was actually good to extend the session, because you all were very productive, engaging and interactive, which actually made me felt very much happy and very much satisfied with this demo. I'm not sure how many of you are going to turn up around in the coursework, but I'm really expecting to see you all again in the coursework. So thank you again. Have a great day ahead. Have a great Ramzan, and thank you, and Allah Hafiz, everybody.
You as well. Allah Hafiz.